The Indian Child Bride and the Old Arab Husband. A novel by Dr. A. Ahmed. This narration continues the story of the Arab sugar daddy and the beautiful poor Indian girl. It was written in English and translated into Arabic by Dr. A. Ahmed. It is a tale that is narrated in 6 books. Book 2. The Arab Sugar Daddy Turns into the Granddaddy the Devil. Copyright. All rights are reserved. No part of this book may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means without the prior written permission of the author except by a reviewer, who may quote brief passages from the review for printing in a public newspaper, general magazine, school journal, or university article. All characters in this novel are fictitious and any resemblance to real people, living or dead, is purely coincidental. Chapter 26. The greatest Bollywood film director. Mahmood Khan is the top film director in the Bollywood film industry. Bar none, his movies are always huge hits. Every film actor or actress dreams of a lead role in his movies. In a land that idolized movies, he is the highest-paying director in India and he chooses his actors very carefully. He would never give the main roles in his movies to beautiful new female actresses, but always targets high-profile girls such as Miss India, Miss World, or Miss Universe. His latest movie has featured the former Miss World, Priyanka Chopra, and the movie before that starred the former Miss Universe, Lara Dutta. The Queen of Bollywood and former Miss World, who is called Aishwarya Rai, is a favorite choice for many of his recent movies. Even the former Miss Universe, Sushmita Sen, has acted in some of his movies. His leading heroes are icons in the Indian film industry, such as Shah Rukh Khan, Salman Khan, Akshay Kumar, Hrithik Roshan, Johnny Abraham, Abhishek Bachchan, Ranbir Kapoor, Ajay Devgan, and Amir Khan. Among the top pretty girls, his leading heroines are Aishwarya Rai, Lara Dutta, Priyanka Chopra, Katrina Kaif, Sushmita Sen, Deepika Padukone Singh, Kareena Kapoor, Kangana Ranaut, Jacqueline Fernandez, Shraddha Kapoor, Alia Bhatt, Kriti Sanon, among others. Although he is an extremely successful director, Mahmood Khan has serious women's issues. He is a serial womanizer who targets young pretty girls. Every time a beautiful young girl would come to him and request him for a role in his movies, he would stipulate one condition. If she wanted a role, she should have to sleep with him. If the girl agreed to have sex with him and continued to sleep with him, he would give her a second role. If she is very beautiful, she might act as a maidservant for the main heroine, who is supposed to tempt the hero and create a problem between him and his wife or girlfriend. Or she might become a secretary to the hero and cause him to cheat on his wife or something of that sort. If she is not that beautiful, then she might get a side role like dancing behind the main heroine, or a former school girlfriend of the heroine who would appear for 5 minutes in the entire movie. If the girl continued to sleep with him, he would make her his mistress and keep tempting her with gradually increasing roles. But he never gave any new girl a leading role in his movie, no matter how smart she might be or how extremely beautiful. Mr. Mahmood Khan is a married man and has only one son. He is 66 years old and rarely sleeps with his wife. He has many opulent mansions. His main 2 residences are in the opulent areas of Juhu and Bandstand in Bandra. Only Bollywood actors and actresses and extremely wealthy Indians live in those expensive areas. Also, the great film director has other houses. He has a farmhouse, a hill house, and a big hotel in the city of Lonavala. He also has a resort in Khandala city. Those other opulent residences are the houses where he brings and has sex with his young pretty mistresses. Each house has high security and is equipped with every modern means of entertainment. He has bars, swimming pools, and discos in all his mansions. He loves to invite to his mansions high-profile actors and actresses and have wild parties. In each residence, he has many menservants and maidservants. He would never travel from place to place by car or train. He has his own 2 private helicopters. He even has his private airplanes, which he flies on them whenever he goes abroad or visits other Indian cities. Needless to say, he is an Indian multi-billionaire. The latest Mahmood Khan production featured the king and the queen of Bollywood, Shah Rukh Khan and Priyanka Chopra. His new movie is called The International Gonda. It is a remake of an old movie of the same name. Its original actors were the former king of Bollywood Amitabh Bachchan and the former Miss Asia Zeenat Aman. Zeenat is extremely beautiful and has a sexy body, and that is why she is called the Bollywood sex symbol of all time. The new version of the latest movie is heralded 100 times better than the old version. Kareena Kapoor, who danced in the place of the former dancer Indian legend Helen, excelled in her role. It is no surprise that the movie is a must-see for everyone in Mumbai. The new movie, which is also called The International Gonda, is featured in 4 movie theaters across the city. Tickets were sold a month in advance and black market scalpers offered them for 10 times their original price. Mahmood Khan came to inaugurate his hugely successful movie in the famous Eros Theatre near Churchgate. Usually, he would send a representative to launch his new movie, but the unprecedented success of this particular movie enticed him to make a personal appearance in Eros. Unlike in Western countries, the make-or-break factor for Bollywood movies is solely dependent on the songs and the make-or-break factor lineup. It is normal for a movie to be a hit if it features sweet and popular songs, and if the hero and heroine dance well. Of course, the hero and heroine have to be on the A-list of Bollywood. As the Brazilians believe in having 2 religions, Christianity and soccer, the Hindus will tell you they worship 3 religions: Hinduism, cricket, and the Bollywood film industry. The greatest of all greats, Mr. Mahmood Khan, has spent only 10 minutes in the movie theater before he got up and left. As he was leaving, he spotted the most beautiful Indian girl he had ever seen in his life. He could not believe that such a beautiful girl was living in Mumbai without being crowned Miss Bombay or Miss India or appearing in any movie. He knew that if any director had seen her, he would have already introduced her to the film industry or encouraged her to join the beauty contest. For that reason, he concluded that the girl was a visitor to the city or new to India. He decided to talk to her and offered to introduce her to Bollywood. He wants to tempt her with a role, take her to one of his houses, and sleep with her, and of course, he hopes to make her his secret mistress or a second wife. As a Muslim man, he knows his religion allows him to have up to 4 wives at the same time. Mahmood approached the girl and offered his hand to greet her. The girl refused to take his hand. He introduced himself and told her who he was and the offer he had in mind for her. The girl thanked him for the offer and told him she was not interested in acting in a movie. The proud film director is shocked at the rejection. No girl ever refused his offer. Hundreds of young pretty Indian girls are lined up every day in front of his office just for any one of them to have a 3-minute scene. When he overcame his astonishment, he asked the girl where she was living and from where she came. She refused to tell him anything about herself. He told her that if she did not want to appear in a movie, he could introduce her to the beauty contest. The girl does not understand what he meant by that. The concept is alien to her. When she remained silent, he thought that she was considering his second offer. Therefore, he gave her his card and asked her to either visit his office or give him a phone call. The beautiful girl accepted his card but remained silent and revealed nothing about her true identity. As he is leaving, Mahmood Khan instructs some of his assistants to follow the beautiful girl and find out who she is and where she is living. He not only wants her to star in his movies and crown her as Miss India, but he believes he has fallen in love with her at first sight. He had never felt that feeling for any pretty woman before. No young woman ever captivated his heart as that young girl had done. Although the girl had walked away, still her magnificent beauty engraved itself in his mind and her sexy body kindled an unquenchable flame within him. No girl ever before had so captivated his mind, created such extreme sexual arousal, and filled his entire body with erotic interest as that lovely girl has done. If it is not for his position, he would have followed her everywhere she goes. Instead, 3 of his men began to follow her and try to gather information about her and pass it on to their proud and successful boss. Mr. Mahmood Khan has determined in his heart to get her by all means and to make her his beloved young woman, and if it is possible to marry her secretly and make her his second wife. While she was walking away, he continued to stare at her as if he had seen for the first time the queen of the beauty of the whole universe. Chapter 27. Seeing the most perfect feminine beauty ever. In the meantime, Ifrit Khan decided to fool her new security guard, the Muslim lawyer, and go to see the latest Indian movie. She has planned to go outside with her face and hair uncovered. She thought in that way the Muslim lawyer would not recognize her. She knows he saw her with her face fully covered by her Islamic niqab and her entire body was concealed behind her black burqa. She had never stepped in public before without her Islamic abaya and niqab. She knows that no one has seen her face since she came to India. So, she expected that the Muslim lawyer would not recognize her if he happened to come in front of her face to face without her black burqa. She put on her salwar kameez, spent a few minutes in front of the mirror, and then left her room. Ifrit is not aware of her fabulous and extraordinary beauty. She had lived most of her life excluded from the outside world, and she had never before heard anyone praising her beauty. However, that day, as soon as she stepped out of her room without her Islamic demeaning burqa, she began to notice the effect of her beauty on the onlookers who saw her while she was walking out of her hotel. People walking on the street are staring at her as if she is an angelic creature that has descended from another planet. Some men have stumbled on others while they are staring at her. She ignored them, continued her walk, and crossed the street until she found a taxi. She asked the taxi driver to take her to the movie theater that the front desk girl had helpfully written out on a piece of paper. When the taxi dropped her off in front of Eros Theater, she paid her fare to the driver and came out. As soon as she got out of the taxi, she saw a man coming towards her. Ifrit is so scared when she sees the man standing in front of her and offering his hand to shake hands with her. She thought that the man was a spy for her dangerous Saudi husband, and he had come to catch her because she dared to open her face and go without her burqa in public. She is about to run away from him, but the man blocked her way. She began to shake in terror and panic. The man smiled and introduced himself as the Bollywood director Mr. Mahmood Khan. Then, he asked her what her name was and where she was staying. She refused to tell him her name, and she also decided not to reveal where she was staying. She is scared that the spy might recognize her and inform her terrorist husband. She knows that her Arab husband would cut her throat if he came to know that she has disobeyed his orders and stepped out of her hotel with her face and hair uncovered and her body not concealed by her burqa. The man told her that he is a film director and he would like to offer her a role in one of his upcoming movies. At once, the extremely frightened girl Ifrit rejected the offer. He said to her if she was not interested in acting in a film, he had another offer for her. He then told her he would love to introduce her to the beauty contest. The imprisoned fourth wife of the old geezer has no clue what the man is talking about when he says the beauty contest. When she remained silent, he took out his card, offered it to her, and asked her to visit his office or call him on the phone. She has accepted the card from his hand because she wanted to get rid of him. After that, she walked away from him without uttering a word. Ifrit felt great relief when the man did not stop her or follow her. She went to the movie theater. She is told that all the tickets were sold and the movie had already started a few minutes ago. Ifrit felt so disappointed when she came to know that the tickets were sold a month ahead. She decided to stop the taxi and return to her hotel. Howbeit, while she was walking away, the same curious Indian man stopped her and told her that he could get her inside the movie theater without a ticket if she wanted to see the interesting movie that he had directed. He also said to her he could make her go in for the next show if she decides to see the movie from the beginning. Ifrit has liked the offer, but she does not know what to do or say to the man. She just continued to look at him without uttering a word. The man thought that she might be a deaf and dumb girl. He repeated his offer 3 times before she responded. She told him she would love to see the movie right away. The man became exceedingly happy when she began to talk and acquiesced to his offer. Therefore, he took hold of her left hand and walked her inside the movie theater without anyone stopping them. Then, he took her to the best seat that had been reserved for him and said to her, "Oh, pretty young lady, please enjoy the movie," and left the theater hall. The generous man has been forgotten. Ifrit immersed herself and began to enjoy watching the movie on the big silver screen. It is her first experience of watching a movie on the silver screen, and she is thrilled with the new experience. When the interesting movie is over, Ifrit comes out of the theater, stops a taxi, and returns to her hotel, followed without her knowledge by the three men of the great movie director Mahmood Khan. One of them followed her inside the hotel. He showed his card to the front desk and asked them to tell him about the pretty young girl who had just walked in. He said further that he had been sent by the famous movie director Mahmood Khan to talk to the girl and offer her a role in his next movie. He also said that he would love to know her name and from where she has come. The front desk girl became so excited when she realized that the secretary man of the well-renowned film director Mahmood Khan had come to their cheap and ugly hotel to offer a role to one of the hotel's female guests. She told him the beautiful girl was called Ifrit Khan and that she had recently come from Iran. When he requested her to call the girl and ask her to come and talk to him, the receptionist girl immediately picked up the phone receiver and dialed the room number of Ifrit Khan. When Ifrit responded to the call, she told her that someone would like to talk to her. Ifrit has become so frightened when she learns that a man has come to speak to her in person. She thought that someone had already informed her Saudi husband that she had gone out of the hotel with her face and hair uncovered and without the burqa concealing her body. She decided to deny that she ever stepped out of the hotel. She put on her black burqa, carefully concealed her face with a black niqab, and came down to meet the man. The secretary of the film director is shocked when he sees the girl in a black burqa, which makes her appear to him as a sudden manifestation of a scary female ghost. He asked her whether she was the same girl who had just come in a taxi from the Eros movie theater. The fourth wife of Sheikh Ahmed has strongly denied it. The front desk girl became confused when Ifrit openly denied that she was the same girl. She knew that she was the one who went out without her burqa and just came in. She even handed over her room key to her when she came back. She is the very same girl who gave her the address of the Eros theater and told her to go and watch the best movie in town. Regardless, the man of Mahmood Khan knew that she was the one and tried to talk to her about the movie offer. She told him she did not live in India. She came from a foreign country and she would soon return to her country. For that reason, she is not interested in appearing in any movie. The secretary realized that the pretty girl had rejected his manager's offer, but he felt satisfied with the information he gathered about her so far. He apologized to Ifrit Khan and thanked her for her time. When he came out of the hotel, he phoned his boss and conveyed the information he had obtained about the extremely beautiful girl. Mahmood Khan is crushed when he comes to know that the beautiful girl is an NRI, which means a non-resident Indian girl who is living abroad and has just come as a visitor to her motherland. Nevertheless, he wanted to know more about her. He ordered his men to continue following her and find out why she was there in that cheap hotel and why she was staying in a dangerous and notorious area that was full of brothel houses. More importantly, he said he wants to know when she is planning on leaving the country. For 2 weeks, the spies of the great movie director Mahmood Khan followed Ifrit Khan just about everywhere that she went. They came to know that she goes every day early morning without a break to the Arthur Road jail to visit an 80-year-old Saudi man who has been arrested on charges of rape and kidnap of a minor Indian girl. She spends time with him and then goes to other places wherever he sends her to go and do work for him. Then, the spies asked the jail guards to reveal the relationship between her and the Saudi old man. Of course, they paid the guards so much money to get some information about the young girl and the imprisoned old man. One of the guards said she was the Indian maidservant of the Arab man. Yet another suspected that the girl might be a secret mistress or concubine or even a real wife of the Arab old man. Mahmood Khan felt twisted up inside when he realized that the beautiful girl of the excellent and perfect form of beauty had become his obsession and adoration. She already had another man in her life. Worse than that, she might have already been involved in a sexual relationship with an 80-year-old Saudi man. But then hope glimmered in his heart and mind when he remembered the notorious criminal case and the severe punishment that was probably going to be rendered for the hideous crimes the old Saudi Muslim man had committed against the 11-year-old Muslim girl, who was from the city of Hyderabad. Chapter 28. The corrupt system of law in Bombay. For 3 weeks, Mahmood Khan's men followed Ifat Khan everywhere she went and gave her nightmares in broad daylight. She saw them following her every day, and she naturally assumed that they were sent by her terrorist husband to keep watch on her. She did not repeat her adventure of going out of her hotel with her face and head uncovered and without her black burqa. In her mind, her husband's spies might take her nude pictures and smuggle them to him inside the jail. Some Muslim women think that if a non-Muslim girl goes out without her face being covered with a niqab and her body wrapped with an abaya or burqa, she would be bare naked, which causes men to fall into the sin of adultery or rape her. A prominent Muslim imam in Australia said the non-Muslim girls walking on the streets without abayas, hijabs, or burqas are like open meat for men. Therefore, if the cat finds open meat and eats it, the one who left the meat open must be blamed. In other words, he meant to say, the girls who don't cover their bodies should be blamed, and those men who might get tempted and rape them should not be blamed. Therefore, he blamed the raped non-Muslim woman and not her Muslim rapist. What an evil Muslim leader to teach such a criminal maxim. He was supposed to be either thrown behind bars for life or kicked out of Sydney City. The naive Indian wife Ifat Khan foresaw her dangerous Saudi husband might order his spies to punish her in some gruesome way. To avoid such dire and unpleasant consequences, the fourth wife confined her movements to the hotel and the jail. She became like a female soldier or a guard who had to attend his duty without fail. Every morning, she left her hotel and headed to jail. She spent a few minutes listening to the instructions of her Saudi husband, doing whatever he told her to do, and then she took a taxi and returned to her hotel. Every day without fail, she saw the men who kept following her like her evening shadow. Whenever she reached her room, she would peep from her window and see the very same men loitering outside watching the hotel. The men would remain to stand and smoke their cigarettes until midnight, and then they would disappear. Whenever she came out, she would see them again, either on the street or following her taxi in their beautiful Maruti car. This went on for 3 weeks, without fail. In the meantime, the famous movie director Mahmood Khan used every available tactic to convince Ifat Khan to accept his tempting offers. He started writing love letters to her and sending them to her through her hotel's address. He wrote his romantic epistles in Urdu, Hindi, and English. He sent many beautiful, colorful cards. He even sent her bouquets of beautiful flowers. He collected the loveliest poems he found and sent them to her. He sent her invitations to expensive restaurants in 5-star hotels such as the Taj Mahal, Sea Rock, Oberoi Tower, and Leela Palace. He went as far as to send her tickets for movies that are currently playing in the best movie theaters in town. He wanted her to come out of her ugly black Islamic cocoon and show her lovely face and sexy body again. Little did he know that Ifat did not respond nor understand any of his overtures because she could not read. She understood that someone was sending her letters, cards, tickets, invitations, and bouquets of flowers and roses. She has no idea who is sending them. She thought about it, but decided against showing those love messages, cards, and bouquets to the front desk girls and asking them to translate them for her. She suspected that her cruel husband might have bribed the hotel management and told them to spy on her too. Although Ifat can speak 3 languages, Urdu, Hindi, and Persian, she can read and write none of them. She is completely illiterate, and that fact is absent to the renowned film director. Who could think or guess such a young and beautiful Indian girl as she had never been to school in all her life? Mahmood Khan remained determined to fulfill his obsession with that perfect form of the feminine beauty Ifat Khan by all means. He decided that if he could not get her attention through his various temptations, he would resort to kidnapping her and hiding her in one of his out-of-town mansions. He does not want the outside world to know of her. He just wants to convince her to be his adorable girlfriend or secret second wife. Thinking it over, he decided to give her a month to respond to his romantic messages or sexual advances, whereupon he would order his men to kidnap her and take her to his farmhouse if no positive response from her side was forthcoming. While all this extraordinary attention is flooding her room, something unexpected happens which changes the course of her life forever. Meanwhile, the Muslim lawyer, Sheikh Barkatullah, worked sincerely in his mission to fulfill his promise to the imprisoned child abuser and notorious womanizer Sheikh Ahmed. He talked to the High Court's main judge handling the case and informed him about the tempting huge bribe. The judge demanded 4 crores, 40 million Indian rupees, which are equivalent to $571,428 US. The corrupt judge promised that he would acquit the old Saudi man with honor if he got 2 crores before the trial and 2 crores after his honorable release. Barkatullah also made similar contacts with many top officials in the police departments of Mumbai and Hyderabad. Each police commissioner demanded 20 million Indian rupees. Sheikh Barkatullah worked hard to contact and convince many other people in Mumbai and Hyderabad to join the secret pact. He talked to the Mumbai International Airport police officers who arrested the old man and promised to pay them thousands of rupees if they would agree to change their statements. He also visited Hyderabad city and called in on the mother, brothers, and sisters of Amina Hyder Ali. He promised to pay the family 100,000 rupees if they would all appear in Mumbai High Court and swear under oath by placing their right hands on the Holy Quran and saying that they met the old Saudi man before he married Amina and lied to him about her age. Through the mother, the Muslim lawyer also succeeded in contacting the abused child bride Amina Hyder Ali and made her promise to change her court statements. The mother told Amina that her father would not force her to go with the bad old Arab man who did those awful things to her. She also promised her daughter that they would allow her to go back to school and finish her education. Although she was taken away from her family, still the Indian government allowed the right of visitation to the mother, but denied the same to the detained evil father, who sold his 11-year-old daughter in marriage to the pedophile 80-year-old. The Arab man Sheikh Faiz bin Ahmed. After 15 days, as he promised, Sheikh Barkatullah came to the old man at Arthur Road Jail and broke to him the good news. He narrated to him everything he had done in those days and how much that was going to cost him. He informed him that the entire secret deal would cost him 14 crores, which is equivalent to 140 million Indian rupees, which equals $2 million American dollars. 7 crores have to be paid before the trial and 7 crores after his honorable release. The greedy and crooked Muslim lawyer decided to get the lion's share of 6 crores himself, 60 million Indian rupees. But he lied to the main judge and the 2 police commissioners and claimed that he was going to receive only 20 million Indian rupees. The lucky Muslim lawyer is planning after the trial is over to quit his profession, leave the land of the accursed Hindu idolaters, and immigrate to the blessed Muslim land of Pakistan. Before his gracious Allah had sent to him his angel of fortune, the teenage Muslim girl Ifat Khan, the Indian lawyer used to make in a month between 7 to 10,000 Indian rupees. He has never saved more than 20,000 rupees in 10 years of soliciting in Bombay courts. But now, after heaven rained down on his miserable life silver and gold and hard currency, the poor Muslim lawyer became overnight a multi-millionaire. The old Saudi man tried to reduce the amount to 10 crores, but the Muslim lawyer insisted that his price of freedom would remain at 14 crores. For him being a life and death situation, the old Saudi agreed to pay all the required bribes. Chapter 29. Creating the second joint bank account. At first, Sheikh Ahmed thought to send his Indian wife to the Abu Dhabi International Bank and get the management to send him the necessary documents to transfer 7 crores rupees from his account to the account of Sheikh Barkatullah. Notwithstanding, the Muslim lawyer stopped him and told him that he would not accept such a huge amount of money from him directly. The money should go to someone else's account and that person should deposit the money in Sheikh Barkatullah's account. He explained to the old geezer that his foolish idea would expose their secret scheme and everyone involved would go to jail. It is, after all, a huge amount of money and bound to raise suspicion once it is discovered that the transfer has taken place. No one is going to believe an Indian lawyer can make such a huge amount of money even if he has worked as an attorney in all courts in Mumbai for 1,000 years. To keep such an illegal deal secretly hidden from the police, the media, and other curious eyes, a third person should act as the middleman. The old man understood the risk that is involved if the money would go directly from his account to his lawyer's account. Howbeit, the question that puzzled him was who that person could be whom he could trust with such a huge amount of money. It is Sheikh Barkatullah who suggested that the faithful Indian maidservant should act in between. He told the old man that his maidservant was the only person who was not known to the government and the public. The old man understood that no one in India knew that his Indian wife was related to him in any way. He balked when he considered the amount of money that he would have to place in her trust. She might very well abscond with the money, but he knows that he has no anyone else he could use, except her. However, he understood that he had already brainwashed her and made her a complacent girl to all his abuses, just like a robot in his hands. She is also an Indian slave girl to him, and he is her Arab master. He reasoned that if she wanted to run away from him, she would not have come from the Mumbai International Airport after his Afghani guard was arrested. She came from the airport all alone to him and began to do his work and continued to visit him without fail every day in jail and follow his orders. Sheikh Barkatullah outlined his plan and advised Sheikh Ahmed to transfer the entire sum of 14 crores into his Indian maidservant Ifat Khan's yet-to-be-established account. Then, he should accompany her to Switzerland to ensure that the needed 2 secret accounts, his and hers, and the agreed-upon first transfer are accomplished properly. As soon as the trial is over and Sheikh Ahmed is acquitted with honor, Ifat and his lawyer should make another trip to Switzerland and get the second installment transferred from her account to his. To make sure that the old man would not change his mind after release, the crooked lawyer told him that the High Court judge had said that he would not release his passport and allow him to fly out of India until the amount was fully paid off. He disclosed that the judge would withhold his passport under the premise that protesting parties be given a chance to appeal. This would satisfy both the court and the media. The old man does not feel comfortable with any of the conditions: withholding of his passport, detention in India, transferring 14 crores to an overseas bank into the account of his Indian wife. But his Muslim lawyer told him that he has no other choice. The old man accepted the suggestion of his Muslim lawyer, but warned his Indian maidservant in front of Sheikh Barkatullah by telling her that he would send some dangerous spies to follow her to Switzerland, and if she tried to swindle him and run away with the money, then his terrorist men will catch her and shoot and kill her. Ifat Khan swore by Allah that she would not take the money and run away or do anything else to upset her Saudi master. Nevertheless, the old man made some conditions to Barkatullah that he would not pay the first installment unless he would get in writing and voice recording statements of confessions from him, the judge of the High Court, the 2 police commissioners of Mumbai and Hyderabad, that they are going to receive from him 7 crores of Indian rupees before the trial and another 7 crores of rupees after the trial for his release with honor. He said further that the recorded and written confessions should be given to his Indian maidservant. When his obedient maidservant Ifat Khan would receive those written and recorded confessions, she should come and translate them to him in Persian, until he would hear those confessions and get satisfied, and then his Indian maidservant would mail them to his address at his residence in Tehran. He would not pay a single rupee. The old man knows that he has no one to receive those mailed confessions when they reach Iran, but he wants to make sure that the Muslim lawyer, the judge of the High Court, the police commissioner of Mumbai, and the police commissioner of Hyderabad cannot renege on their word and let him hang high and dry and die like a stray dog in the gallows inside the dungeon of the accursed Hindus. Sheikh Barkatullah tried to convince his client to drop his conditions and trust him, but the old Arab man refused. He said he would not trust his father or brother with such a huge amount of money. Finally, with no one ready to move a leg, the Muslim lawyer has agreed to fulfill the conditions of the stubborn old geezer. But he said that he needed at least another couple of weeks to obtain the written and recorded statements of those Indian VIP persons. While Barkatullah is busy collecting those recorded and written confessions, Sheikh Ahmed has sent his obedient Indian wife Mrs. Ifat Khan to the Abu Dhabi International Bank and requested the manager to see him in person. When the manager visited the Saudi man in jail, he told him to create a second account for his Indian wife, Ifat Khan, and transfer from the former joint account 140 million Indian rupees to her new account. The manager asked why he is transferring such a large sum of money to his teenage Indian wife, but the old man said to him it was his money and he was free to do whatever he wanted to do with his wealth. The manager apologized to him for interfering in his personal affairs. The manager of the bank is an Arab man from a small town in the United Arab Emirates. His salary is only 25,000 rupees per month. He guessed that the Saudi man was planning to purchase his freedom with that huge amount of money. Even so, he knows it is not his business to ask him that question too. As instructed, the International Bank of Abu Dhabi opened a new account for the fourth wife of Mr. Sheikh bin Ahmed and transferred from the joint account to Ifat Khan's new account 140 million Indian rupees.